What's going on, guys? Today we're going to take a look at my newest watch, the TISSOT Powermatic 80, TISSOT PRX Powermatic 80. It's a beautiful watch that I wasn't sure about, but I've had it on my wrist for a few days now, and I can tell you it was a great purchase. I don't regret it at all. And I'm going to share with you some of the highlights, things that I like, things that maybe, hopefully they can improve on in the next iteration. So let's go. All right, let's take a look. So I managed to get this on sale, and there was only a handful left in stock. So I finally pulled the trigger. So I didn't pay retail for this, which only made it even more worth it. So on my first impression, I think this is a really handsome looking piece. It looked like it jumped out of the 1970s, which of course the 70s is now like the golden age of watch design that it's been really sought after, like the AP, Royal Oak, and the Patek Nautilus. Now the difference is, of course, the AP and the Patek, they've been updated somewhat since then, right? They've been through, the first version, second version, and the TISSOT PRX, it really hasn't been updated in terms of design. So it looks like a 1970s watch. But of course, the movement is a modern movement. It's got 80 hours of power reserve, hence the Powermatic 80. And honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less from a modern movement. If you don't have at least 3 days of power reserve, you're really like 20 years behind. And the dial, they put this waffle dial that looks like an AP dial, which I wasn't sure about. But it's kind of subtle. I mean, especially from a distance, I think it looks just fine. Anyone who really are put off by it should, I think they should really just try it out in person for a few days. I honestly don't really care all that much about it. The crown's a bit teeny, but it goes with the overall aesthetic. It's a push and pull crown. I think the screw down crown is a bit overrated. You don't really need it. A lot of times, the screw down crown is where people mess up their watch, because it takes quite a bit of technical precision to make a really good screw down crown. And a lot of the smaller brands, particularly cheaper watches, the screw down action is just really poor. So the fact that they just made it a push pull and you still get the same water resistance, I think it was the right choice. And with that, you get the display case back. I know it's not much movement to look at. They haven't really decorated all that much, but I always like watching the rotor and the balance spring, so I don't care. Having a display case back is, in my opinion, a good thing. And also the finishing. Some folks complain that maybe the finishing is a bit plain. It is machine finish, but under spotlighting, it looks really good. It shimmers. Now, right now, I'm filming this during the day, so it's not as obvious. So during the day, the brushing takes over, but nighttime, when you're in indoor lighting, for example, the polish parts starts to shine through. So I think the bracelet, the tapering, and the finishing is just fine. It's perfectly fine. And one of my favorite part of the watch is I'm just stunned by how accurate it keeps time. So I got this watch. They literally mailed it in like a paper bag. I mean, it was in the watch box, and then they put the watch box in like a paper bag. So I mean, this thing shipped, I guess, from Switzerland to some warehouse here, and then from TISSOT goes to the retailer, and then the retailer goes to me, or goes to EPS, and it goes to me. And this thing's been thrown around, and it's super accurate. I set all my watches about a minute or two at least ahead of the actual time, and this thing is still running about a minute ahead after like 4 days now. So wow, really accurate movement, really keeping fantastic time, much miles ahead of any Seiko, even my much more expensive Seikos. So yeah, I'm really glad. The movement works really well, timekeeping works really well. The date changes at midnight, which is also fantastic. The winding action is also great. The only thing maybe I don't really like is the logo. I like the original PRX with the T logo, without spelling out the whole name. I just that one big T, like how it looks on the crown. But well, whatever. I like applied logos more than printed logos. That's all it is. And I'll compare this just very briefly to another watch that I've had for a while. I never showed it because it's nothing to write home about. But this watch is made by a company called D1 Milano. It's a fashion brand, and as you can see, it mimics the I don't know. It's like a hybrid of AP and Patek in like a fashion package, but they managed to put a mechanical movement in there and a skeletonized dial, and they were about the same price, these two. And you can see that, well, I can see anyway, I can feel right away that the finishing of the bracelet, this is not as nice. The tapering is very dramatic, which makes it look a little funky. I've always felt like it's a bit hefty on the case, and then the dramatic tapering made it really a little bit disproportionate. But yeah, I mean, I don't wear this watch anymore. It sort of just sits there collecting dust. But yeah, this was the same price. So having Tissot's much more modernized movement, much more accurate movement, much better finishing, and it's significantly thinner. I think this is a home run for people who, looking for an integrated bracelet, a long power reserve, at an affordable price. I don't know if there's anything better than this. So yeah, go ahead, get it. It gets a score of 98 out of 100, I would say. Put it back on my wrist. There it is. I have like a slightly less than 7-inch wrist. I think 6 and 3/4, maybe something like that. I took 4 links out. I took 4 links out, I think. Yeah. So for most people, I think the dimensions are just fine. I mean, I think it could do a little bit better if it was like a 2 millimeters smaller, maybe. You know, I hope when they update it, when TISSOT updates the PRX next time, maybe they could do like a different dial, maybe slightly smaller case, and I like the bracelet. I think they should keep the bracelet. Maybe just do like an apply logo instead of printed logo. And oh yeah, and the date disc. It's a white date disc. Maybe just match it with the dial, make it blue. Right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.